Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Vicky.
Okay.
All right, so I was watching your video about standard 6, 7, and 8. Okay, assessment. I've watched the summative assessment you were doing for two students. One was, I would say, English speaker, the first one, Walden.
Yeah.
And second one looked like was English learner. Okay, so for the English speaker, I like the activities. I have to say they started, with just basic information and the basic knowledge, and then you went into higher level thinking. I like that, the pattern, and also he had to put over and inside vocabulary exactly. The prepositions and everything. They were also, as I mentioned, pattern, and then he also had to only put yellow ones into the jar, as I remember.
Dividing by color.
By color,
separating.
yeah. So then you were using his higher order thinking because he had to come up with the solution on his own. I really like that. I have one question because I want to compare it to the one, the English learner. Did you test him with alphabet?
I did.
Okay, was it with the picture alphabet
or just... It was the same thing. I used the same thing for all of my students. But yes, I used the exact same thing for everybody.
Everybody.
So they all had to, and he knew all of the letters.
Okay, because I wanted to see if there's a difference with the English learner, because I could see that Aliyah, that was her name, that I could see that the pictures really helped her with the alphabet. So that's
what she said for each one.
Yeah, she was looking at the picture first and then she was relating it to the alphabet, which was great. But I wanted to see, like, I want to ask you, how was it with Walden, since I'm sure he knows the alphabet, if he was using the pictures or he
just said the alphabet. He said A.
Okay.
I said, because I asked, part of the instruction was my asking him, what letter is this? And so I would flip, he'd A, B. Some of them actually sang as I went through it.
The alphabet, yeah. And that comes to my second question. I understand that it was in order. How do you think he would do if it was out of order?
Well, that's what I'm going to be grading after Christmas.
Okay.
Because I have worksheets with the alphabet out of order.
Okay, so
we'll be, yes, and I'll actually just switch up the cards. But I wanted to make sure, because like some of my students came in this year singing Elemento.
But they didn't know
They didn't know. They thought about that was a letter, Elemento. And when I finally, I slowed it down. No, this is L, M, N, O, and that's how we sing it, slowly like that.
Because it's a song, and they they learned the song.
They heard Elemento, and that's how they would sing it.
Okay.
And so, but yes.
So that's how you corrected misconception. Okay.
Yes, and so the first time. This was my first testing with them this year.
Okay.
And I do it right before each parent-teacher conference. That way I have something to show the parents, your child did this and this and this.
Yeah.
And this is right on target, actually, for where they should be, at this age level. And like with the Aliyah, who had no English whatsoever, I'm just so proud of the work that she's done.
That was great.
She's able to speak as much as she does. But after Christmas in February we have our second parent-teacher conference, and so all the letters will be mixed up and the numbers will be mixed up.
That's exactly what I was going to suggest. For the next time. I would have it not in order.
Right.
I mean, that's a good step. It's a first step, which is good. And then I would go on a higher level and not have a order for the alphabet and for also numbers. And they have to pick. And maybe even put it in order, but just they have to choose. You have to pick it and from a different order.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So that would be my suggestion for this one.
That's what I do. Yeah.
And also with Aliyah, with the English learning student, I like how she had to show numbers with her fingers. Because I see it in a kindergarten, the kids have hard time to show it with the fingers. And then they have hard time to even do addition because they don't know how to show and put it together, even use the fingers. So that's perfect. And I really like that. And And one more thing with the scissors, with the cutting, like Walden was fine. He knew what to do when you explained to him, show me how you hold the scissors. Aliyah Do you think if you would just give her like piece of paper with a square written that she would understand that she has to cut it, or you just want to see how she holds the scissors?
I wanted to see how she holds, because they've all been cutting. We've had to correct some of them while they cut, but this was a test to see if she knew how to pick up the scissors and hold it.
Okay,
properly.
But that would be another, maybe the next step.
So the next time, yeah.
So how she
I
can
may
cut.
even give them like different shapes to cut.
Exactly.
For
That's
the
what I was
next step.
saying.
Yeah.
Like to have a square, and she just cuts those. Now it's small one, just so it goes fast. So I don't want it to take too long.
Yeah.
Something like that. All right. So that was for the assessment. How do you do? So this was basically summative assessment.
That was a summative. The formative, I try to pair them off. Because they do better if they have a partner.
Okay.
And it makes it a little bit more fun. Plus, it takes stress off.
Yeah.
Because it's not like, oh, I have to do this in front of everybody.
And all by myself, yeah. You know? I understand. And that's good there for 4-year-olds.
Yeah.
But do you do any other forms of formative assessment?
Well, we do all the things in the circle time.
Okay.
Yeah, I just showed the alphabet, but we do, in fact, they have to take turns. We switch our circle time activities every week, and so every week everybody gets a chance to do like a calendar and lead it, days of school, things like that.
So that's when you observe them, like how far they can, like to what number they can maybe count, if they know the days of the week, months of the year, and everything would be.
Yeah, and now with our months of the year, with our sketchbook, they're actually having to write their name and the date by themselves.
Oh, okay.
For the months of the year. Because we have, on my months of the year chart, I have 01 for January. So they know the 01 is, and we go over that each day too. What number goes with January? 01, February, 02.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Right.
And
so then you just observe them as you do activities, daily activities. Okay. Yeah, because you cannot film everything, so you cannot show everything in a video. Okay. And then we can. So within your assessment, you were using your instructional strategies. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay, because that's what I was a little confused. Like
I was
if it's
verbalizing
going to be...
what I wanted them to do.
Okay.
And so that's why I tried not to show them. I would say, please, and especially for Aaliyah to understand what I was trying to get her to do when I held up the cards. What is this? And she said apple. But she knew what I wanted her to do. She knew I wanted her to tell me that we were going through the alphabet. She knew, like with the numbers, that I wanted her to count. She knew when I started counting, how high can you count? And she counted up to, I think, 13. So it's my instruction. We're going to do this now. Show me what you know, ABC. That was my instruction part for the summative assessment.
So you using your data from your assessment for the instruction, and then you leading your instructions based on those data.
And I do my lesson plan from the data I get.
Okay. Yeah. That's that's where I was coming.
Yeah.
That's where I was going. Just wanted to make sure that's what's going on. And then do you, like with the instructional strategies, you kind of need to know their background, their cultural background, and then like our community, and then we are trying to also address the needs of the community. So is that something that you look a little closer into as you do your instructions, or because each child is different, right? Based on your cultural backgrounds.
The questions that I have are from our curriculum. These are the TSWs, what they have to be learning at this stage in time.
So this is what for everybody, that's what they have to do. You just use different strategies how to get them to this point.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about your instructions? How do you reflect on your lesson plan? Like after you teach the plan and you do assessment and like how do you reflect on it?
Again, I have my daily monitoring forms, and try to put down a date of when I've opened it. When I've just, like the beginning, the first day of school, people who came the first day right away. Were exposed to what I'm trying to teach. But then when they can do it without me reminding them or telling them, and they do it even during playtime, I see that and I write down the date. So they mastered this. Okay. And then I try to go beyond with those people and get them, those students, and get them to go farther, higher thinking. And the ones who are still a little bit behind, sometimes I will have students who've already mastered it, play with them in a certain area or do something special with them, or I will pull them aside during playtime and spend 5 minutes or so drilling, like the ABCs or numbers or whatever.
And I liked you put it also in your video that you use the evidence-based technological tools to plan your instruction. That was the timing to see the progress.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I just wrote down, but this is the detail. Like I noticed that Walden didn't know the brown color.
Yes.
And that was the one thing. And you were trying to go brown.
Because we say the colors all the time.
So he knows, right?
He does.
So if you would start, maybe if you would say, what color is chocolate? You know, I don't know. It was to be like, and not even for Walden, because he probably just forgot at that point. But like even for the kids that just give them the image in their brain. Okay, so brown chocolate, you know, or something, white sky, white snow, or blue sky.
Right. That's a lot of times what I do, even with the shapes. Because we have gone over them so many times already. I mean, we do it almost every day. And so if they can't remember, just starting rectangle. And they get it.
We need to have like images. So they need to look for the shape for let's say a triangle outside of a classroom, or in a classroom. So they need to like real objects.
Right.
So that
would be probably next semester or next term after Christmas, we will be looking for things in the room that are triangle or rectangle.
Yeah,
or
so
square.
They can see that there are shapes everywhere. And then also the higher order thinking skills with the questions, to build the questions that at the end of the of your lessons, like you were asking them, why do we learn, how do we learn, and they were pretty good, I have to say. Like they were thinking and they were able to answer some of the questions, and that's a good way to develop their higher order thinking. Also with the pattern, like how you were using the pattern, and when he couldn't do the yellow and blue, and then you helped him, but the good thing that you made him to repeat it all by himself again.
I wanted him to be able, because we do color pattern on our calendar.
It's different to see it, but actually to do it, to demonstrate it. That was good that even then he had little difficulties, not so much. It was, I think he was doing great, but then when he had to repeat it all by himself, that was good. I understand, because I saw you were busy doing this video instruction, and then Ms. Olga was recording videos. So then the kids, they were actually pretty good if you think about it. They were doing their centers and activities. So well done. I hope that you covered everything you were supposed to. I mean, these are the standards that there are. Of course, you cannot cover absolutely every single one, but these are the ones we were.
So the element of formative and summative assessment. I tried to show both of what I do with one or two students, and
analyzing
the
data.
The data. I tried to show that as well.
And you showed me your sheets. It was on a video. It was visible.
And even when I was doing the summative, I had the assessment there with me, and I was trying to mark things off as we went along. So that I would remember. And
accommodations in assessment.
Well, like that's why I showed Walden first, and then I had to change how I did it with Aaliyah, because she was an English learner, and so I tried to show that, and then.
They need to learn the same things eventually, but the way how you
but
explain
how
it to
they are able to say it and show me what they understand there has to be give and take to it, so that they know that they're achieving something, and she is, so evidence-based instructional strategies. And again, with the summative assessment, I was instructing them what to do as they did it, before they did it. Put the tiles over, like the one, a tile in your hand and put it over the jar. And so that was my way of trying to show that. And using the resources with that, and the game on the smart board, the time number game. planning and instruction and sequencing of learning. Again, I use my data to plan my future
instructions. Yeah.
And
that's the best way, because now you have evidence, and then that's what you're going to base your instructions.
And with parent-teacher conferences tomorrow, this is what I'm going to show parents. Your child is doing great. They're learning. They're right, where they're supposed to be.
And this is what was at the beginning, and will go already 2 months, and this is what we have now. Yeah.
And then monitoring student learning to adjust student learning needs, which I try to do.
You said during the calendar too, you monitor them to see how they're doing and if they're saying things and numbers. And
even if they're participating, and even talking with them and saying, how can you learn? You have to listen and watch, and I can't do it for you. You have to do it. You have to participate, and so, and then asking questions for the
higher level.
Yeah.
Higher order thinking skills. Yeah. So at the end.
Yeah.
But you also asked them questions as you were assessing them.
I did.
So that was the way to ask, and then you see the level of the student, and then you can ask their higher questions or just go to basically like a basic level. So based on their needs.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is good. I'm glad we discussed it. I feel like you understand all these 3 standards, and you put as many as you could into your instruction and it's not easy, especially if you want to hit all of them, and you cannot do all of them at the same time. But then if you understand what it is asked and how it is to plan it for the future instructions based on your data, I mean, I think that's important, that you understand what you have to do, what's going to be the next step. Okay, I got this is what I'm going to show, and this is where I want to get them, so these are the strategies I'm going to use, the most efficient strategies where I'm going to get them based on their levels and based on and using the differentiating strategies. So. Okay, great.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much for your help.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.